Hey, 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 it's sunny over here. Maybe I didn't pick the good spot. I am sitting at Bradley International Airport. Boy, that lighting is gonna kill me. I'm exhausted. I came back last night from Disney World, a couple-day trip with my daughters for my daughter's 21st birthday. And so I got to my hotel room about midnight, and then I had to get up this morning to come over to the airport. Hello, Michael. Allie, what's going on? And so, of course, I get over here to the airport and find out that my flight is delayed, but it was a little bit delayed. I was like, okay, great. And then you see that the flight's delayed more, and I know I'm not going to make my connection. And then you see that the flight is canceled. So today I want to talk about, and I'll get into Dallas, but I'll get in tonight, and I have to kill time. But I want to talk to you guys. I don't know, how many of you guys are travel much? I used to not travel much when the kids were little, and now I travel a lot. And yeah, Michael, it's been really bad at Bradley. Like, I'm telling you, the number of cancellations and delays out of Bradley on these smaller planes has been atrocious lately. I mean, the last probably 5 out of 6 times that I've traveled, the flight is either canceled or delayed. And guys, I don't do O.J. Simpson across the airport running for a plane and all this other stuff. And I kind of hurt my, I don't know, my foot in Disney World because I was on my feet walking 12 miles a day, which is cool. So I want to give you guys some tips. Is anybody interested in some travel tips? Because guess what? I got myself rebooked into first class when everybody else was told the plane was full. So it's really interesting because the flight, I mean, the woman at the counter, exactly, Michael, there are no backup flights. So you get down to very limited choices, and the computer and everything was only showing me choices for tomorrow, and there was a flight through Chicago, and the woman at the counter, who was clearly very frustrated and didn't want to help me, told me that the flight was overbooked and it wasn't an option. So while she was looking, I was also looking. So let me give you guys some tips for those of you that travel or want to travel more, because I expect to spend the next however many years of my life traveling a lot. So you got to get chill about this, because, you know, I'm going to a meeting, I'm going to an event, and it's great, but the world's not going to collapse if I'm not there on time or if I'm a little late. You know, nobody, hello Justin, let everybody know my flight was canceled, so I'm running late. Justin's down in Dallas now. So a couple things. First of all, fly a major airline, okay, except for maybe Southwest or JetBlue. They're pretty good. Do not fly Spirit. Sorry, I'm going to get in trouble, so he's going to come yell at me. Do not fly these super cheapy deals, okay? They're a mistake. They look like they're cheap. I mean, there was recently a riot in the Fort Lauderdale airport because Spirit canceled all their flights and nobody could get home. Don't try to save all the money, because usually it's not that big of a difference, and for the hassle that you're going to have and the problems you're going to have, it's not worth it. The second thing is download the app for the company that you're flying with, and become familiar with the app. Hello, Eric Green. Become familiar with the app from the travel company. Jimmy Ham, what's up? What's up? When I see you, Jimmy? When do I get to see you? You know, I don't go down there that much anymore, though. My life has changed, my darling. Yep, Delta, awesome. Hello, Ashley. So download the app for the company and become familiar with it, okay? Miss you too, Jimmy. Next thing you want to do is make sure you have a frequent flyer account with the company, okay? I watch people, they're flying from, especially with events, people are flying from, they're flying from Australia, they're flying from Europe, they don't have frequent flyer account. So they're missing out on all those miles, and those miles obviously will get you free flights, but they'll also be able to be used towards upgrades, which is part of how I fly in first class so often. So make sure you have a frequent flyer number, that it is on connected to every flight that you make. Hey, Jeff, how are you? Jeff, I have my shoes with me this weekend to go to Dallas. I'll be modeling them. I'm going to change out my straps, so I'm going to be fancy. And maybe wear butterflies this time, although the crowns are very popular. The people like my tiara action. So you want to have the app, you want to make sure you have a frequent flyer number, and that it's always connected. When you sign up for your flight, make sure you always, because a lot of people are like my daughter's like this. My daughter flew home from Australia with no frequent flyer number. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That's 20,000 miles. That's a free flight. And she's like, oh, I just didn't have it handy. blah, blah, blah. Always put your frequent flyer number. Even if it's a short flight, they add up. Okay, so, and the other thing that's important about your frequent flyer number is if you fly enough during the year, you will get what's called status. Now, status makes you like a very important person to the airlines. It'll give you, sometimes, you know, you get an extra bag for free, or sometimes you get the premier seating with the more leg room for free. If somebody's going to get bumped off of a flight, hello Evan, you're less likely, the higher your status, the less likely you are to get bumped. So it's really important to make sure your frequent flyer number is on every single flight. So here's a couple things that I do, because I am absolutely and completely spoiled now, not because I'm a diva and I always have to be, because somebody said that to me recently. I fly first class most often because I know how to. Okay, it's not because I think I have to be in first class or that I'm this or that. But if you know what you're doing with airlines, you can almost always get into first class either free or for a couple of bucks. Okay, so excuse me, my nose is tickly. Sorry. So here's how we go. When you check in, okay, always check in at exactly 24 hours before your flight. Do it online, do it on your phone. I am a diva, Jimmy, you're right. I need some makeups, Jimmy. I need some, look at me today. I need some makeups, baby. I need some styling. So check in 24 hours before your flight, because if you're going to get an upgrade, when you checked in counts towards the list as they decide in what order people get upgrades. So I always check in. I set my clock, if I'm allowed to check in at 5:45 a.m., I set my alarm and wake up, roll over, look at my phone, check in. Now, with the major airlines, very often, I know you're not there, Jimmy, but you still know about that. You still know how to make me, fabulous. I know you're nothing. You haven't been there for a long time. So the next thing you want to do is when you're checking in, take a look, because a lot of times, and it may be more often I see it now, but I saw it back in the day before I had status, they will offer you to upgrade to first class for an additional fee. So let's say you paid like $300 for your plane ticket, and they're going to offer you, if there's seats available, they'll offer you an upgrade. Now sometimes it's really expensive, it's not worth doing, depending on how many seats are available. But sometimes it's like $100 to upgrade to first class. Why wouldn't you? To me, being more comfortable, having more leg room, having access to electricity, guaranteed, being able to work more comfortably, but most importantly, being able to get on and off that plane easier. Because remember, when you're in first class, you get on first and get comfortable first, and you get off first, which means you're out of the crowd and off the plane, especially if you have a tight connection. So sometimes you can just take their offer and upgrade, and it's not that expensive. And I want you to start thinking about the value of your time. And if you guys go look on YouTube, I'll find it. There's a video of me the very first time I flew first class, and talking about the experience. I think it was in like 2007. And I bought myself a first class ticket because I had made a decision that I wanted to change my life. Well, here I am today, and I did, and it was all based on a decision. So if you can upgrade for $100, it might be worth doing. Think about, what do I have to sell to make my life more comfortable on this flight, and change your thought process about what you're deserving and what you should be having. So one, at check-in, sometimes you will see an offer to upgrade. Okay. Two, you can also, if you have any miles racked up, you can check on the website of your airline and see how many miles it would take to be able to upgrade. And sometimes there's deals. Like I recently upgraded on a flight for only 10,000 miles, which is unusual. So it's usually 15, 17.5 or 20,000 miles. Again, if it's a short jump, like if I'm jumping down to Florida, I just came back from Disney, it's Florida from Connecticut. It's not a long flight, it's no big deal. But if I'm flying to Las Vegas, if I'm flying to San Diego, if I'm flying to, LA, Seattle, across the country, it's a big deal for us East Coasters because it's a heck of a lot more comfortable. So I will use my miles to upgrade. I'll buy a cheap seat and use my miles to upgrade. Okay, and you want to look at that right after you buy the tickets. Oh, other thing is when you buy the tickets, sometimes they'll give you a deal to upgrade. And it's less than what it would have cost if you bought the first class ticket out of the gate. So let me tell you what I did today, because it was really interesting. I got to the airport and I found out on the shuttle on the way over that there was an issue with the flight. And my flight said it was delayed due to late aircraft. And she kept saying, they said it was air traffic control. But on the United app, I know United, nobody's beat me or drugged me off a plane yet. Not yet, guys. I'll let you know if it happens. In fact, I said something about being removed from a flight, and the woman's like, nobody removes anyone from flights. So I saw that the flight was delayed. On the app, when you're looking at flight status, you're able to look at where the plane is coming from and what the circumstances of the plane, where it's coming from on the flight before. And it specifically said that it was a mechanical issue. The plane was delayed due to aircraft maintenance. Now, here's the deal with airlines. If the plane's delayed due to air traffic control, they can't do anything. If the plane's delayed due to weather, they can't do anything. It's an act of God. But if the plane is delayed due to their maintenance or their issues, now you have a whole different bargaining chip for what you want, because it's their fault that the plane isn't going. So I'm talking to the woman, and she says it's air traffic control. I said, no, it says here that it's a mechanical. She said, no, it's air traffic control. It's air traffic control. And I showed her the flight before, and she goes, oh my gosh. So now I had her go into work because she didn't have a flight for me, because she told me the other flights were overbooked and I wouldn't get on them. She now, because it's mechanical and it's because it's United's fault, they're able to go to other airlines now and try to book me. So she went over to American to try to book me. But I told her I wanted a first class seat, and she told me, she came back and she said that they only had coach. So I said, well, I found a spot on the Chicago flight, and she says that flight is overbooked. You're not going to get on it. It's not a confirmed seat. And I said, well, the app, because I'm on the app at the same time as she. Des, for the amount that I travel, I'm not always stranded at the airport. It's just the flights get delayed, and I fly a lot. Think about it. I flew last week, right? I came home last night, and then I'll fly today, I'll fly Sunday, and I'll fly again in a week. So, and then sometimes I'm home for 2-3 months. Whole first part of this year I didn't travel. So while the woman was busy telling me that I couldn't get on that flight, I had already gone on the app, and it said it was a confirmed first class seat. So I changed my flight, and she said to me, well, you're not going to get on that plane. And I said, I have a confirmed thing. Oh, you're not going to get a boarding pass. And then boom, there with my boarding passes. I held it up, showed her the boarding pass. I smiled, and I said, you guys may not have access to the same stuff that the app allows us. I don't know, but thank you for your help. And I walked away. So first class, here's another thing I do. In the morning, let's say I have a 6 a.m. flight, because I often take morning flights. People think I'm crazy, but I like them early. I like to get to the airline, because that way if something happens during the day, it's no big deal. I still get there a little later, and then I also have more choices about what airports to fly through. Guys, find out your airline. Find out what their hubs are. So United, you have Newark, you have Washington Dulles, you have Houston, you have Chicago, and then they fly internationally a lot out of San Francisco, some out of LA. But my main hubs are Houston, Dulles, Newark, and Chicago. Okay. Now in the winter, I'll avoid Chicago. Right. I'll go south. Right. I'll try to go through Houston. I'll avoid. Oh, and Denver now. Denver. They just added Denver to my airport. So I will. The live dropped. I'm going to be like frightened when I see this, because the lighting, the way it's making I have my hair pulled back because I didn't want to wash it this morning. And I don't have much makeup on. I have no eye makeup on. So, and then the lighting is making me look like I'm 150 years old, and I got this weird thing going on in my nose. So it's like, anyway, so knowing your hubs, knowing how to, knowing kind of the routes. If you're going to travel a lot, you get to learn the routes. Like I know, it's funny because I kind of know what time all the flights out of Hartford are and what time all the flights back into Hartford are. So a lot of times you're able to tell the flight attendant, not the flight attendant, but the counter people or the customer service people exactly what you need. And for them, it makes it so much easier. They just type it in and boom. It's just because I'm knowledgeable. Another trick, which is great, is guys, if you are let's say a bunch of planes get canceled. Okay, and everybody's waiting online at customer service, because that's what everybody does. First they get all upset, and then they get all freaked out, and then they go stand online like the herd at customer service. You don't want to do that, okay? I'm in Hartford, Bert. My plane was delayed and yada, 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 so I'm not going to get to Dallas till 8. But if you are stranded or stuck, or you're going to miss your flight, and there's like 10,000 people at customer service, And what you want to do is go down to your airline club, United Club, Delta Club, you know, whatever. Even if you're not a member, okay, it's worth paying the $50 to use the club, especially if you're going to be stranded for multiple hours. Pay the $50 to use the club, but that also means you get to use the staff in the club to help rebook you and get you all set, okay? I was stranded once. In fact, I was going to see Angel Fletcher down in New Orleans, and we were flying through Houston, and flight was canceled, and we got in later, whatever the case may be. And we went in the United Club and just made friends with the lady, and everybody else did not get on the plane, and we showed up with boarding passes. And people were like, how did you do that? It's because I used the airline club. And what you want to do is be as nice as you can with these people and let them know, hey, wow, it must be a crazy job. People get so agitated. You know, anything you can do for me, I'd really appreciate. And what happens is when you're the only one not yelling at them, they'll go out of their way for you. But by the time you could have waited online at customer service with the herd, right, you're already rebooked, you're on your way. Again, or go to your app, because sometimes while you're waiting online, you can, smart travelers, really pro travelers, people who travel a lot, what you'll see is they have a headpiece on, they're on the phone with customer service waiting to get through, they're standing online like maybe at the United Club or whatever, and they're also on the app trying to rebook. So what happens is they're like kind of like on 3 queues, 3 lines, and they'll get through to one faster. Most people are standing on one line and grumbling, and then they're the ones that get stranded overnight. So really watch. And the way I learned this was just talking, you know, into frequent travelers. You know, so and it's really not bad once you start to know. Like I've gotten to know flight attendants that travel the routes a lot. So you get on the plane and they already know you. They remember what you drink. It's kind of weird. And I don't fly so often. There's some people that fly, you know, constantly. They're on a plane like every day. But if you're nice to people, they tend to remember you. Okay? Call them by their name. You know, emphasize empathy. You know what the word I'm trying to say. Have empathy with them. Ray Higdon teaches about this all the time too. He'll go, like the day that United had the episode with the dragging the person off the plane, he went and bought some treats for the flight attendants and just said, hey, I just want to let you know we appreciate you. And of course it goes a long way because most people are being very nasty. One other tip, you are going to encounter people that are just frustrated and cranky, and you know, it doesn't mean they're not great people. It just means they've been treated poorly and now they have their defense mechanisms up. So you can change the tide of their day. Like with the girls just now at the counter, they were laughing because she was like, you're not going to get on that plane. And I'm like, oh yes I am. And I said, believe me, if I don't get on that plane, the next time I'm in this airport, I will come and I will bow to you and I will call you the goddess of goddesses. And they all started laughing because, you know, a lot of times patrons, you know, are like there was one woman today, she was demanding to be put on Southwest because United couldn't get her there, and they don't have a partnership. They couldn't put her on Southwest even if they wanted to, but she was, you know, yelling at them. And it was like, it's not going to do you any good because even if there is a flight, they can't do it. Now, you could probably go buy yourself a ticket on the other airline and then, you know, go to United and say, refund me because you had a mechanical and you couldn't get me there. Probably, but as far as them being able to just do it, they can't do it. So sitting and barking at them, what good does it do? The last thing I would say is, guys, if you do start traveling frequently, which most of you, hey Lynn, I heard you were doing some lead generation tips with Mark. That's so awesome. What did Jim says, on one international flight I was given an unopened bottle of fine wine because I was especially nice. See, and guys, on international flights they have nice wine. So Jim, I'm coming to Greece with you because this sounds like good. Yeah, you got to faith. Make sure you have, what airline are you flying? Because your app depends on your airline. Saw a couple people ask what app. Guys, I'm talking about your airline app. So United, or, you know, I mean, if you're coming from Australia, you're flying Qantas or Virgin Australia, or you could be going through Taiwan or somewhere. So it really depends on the airline. But oh, here's another one, guys, real important. I haven't been on British Airways yet. I'm gonna have to check them out. They're not partners with my airline though. Guys, there's alliances between airlines. That's the other thing you want to learn about, especially if you travel internationally at all. Your miles you know, you might have a main airline, Delta, American, you know, United or whatever. But then there's, with United, there's the Star Alliance, and they are allied with like Lufthansa, I think SAS. There's a whole bunch of different airlines that they're allied with. And they're partners, and their miles count together, so you can use your United, you're writing in Greek again. It's all Greek to me, Jim. He flips back and forth, guys. If you don't know Jim Talbot, meet him. Very interesting guy, very interesting stories. He's traveled all over the place. He's got a travel blog. Jim, put your link for your travel blog. So really interesting guy. I had the pleasure of having him to the house, and he's going to be coming down again soon, and we're doing some work together, so it's cool. Guys, when your partnerships for your different things, like for example, because of my status with United, I can use Star Alliance lounges anywhere I go. And when you have longer trips, those lounges become very valuable. If you do travel a lot, really consider getting, there it is, Travels with Jim. Guys, check it out. He has these pictures from Greece, just stunning. He has so many great stories. You joining the one of the airline clubs, United Club or Delta Club or whatever, I don't know what they're called, is really helpful. It'll save you money. Most people think it's like $450 a year. That's insane. If you travel a lot, if you don't, it's not worth it. Okay? Buy a day pass if you need it, if you're going to be somewhere for a long time. Yeah, Virgin, I'm sure, has a great app. So take a look, Faith. And Virgin, I hear, is wonderful. So, like, I use the United Club, and I'm in and out of there all the time, and they have soup and salad and rolls and trail mix, and your sodas and house wine and beer is included, and so on and so forth. But when I get stranded, or even if I just have an hour and a half layover, I'm in Hartford, Linda. I haven't left yet. my flight was challenged this morning, so I boarded 11. The United Club, so what happens is you're allowed to have up to 2 guests. Like I was just traveling with my kids. So think about it. If we all stopped to eat in the airport, hello, Mr. Bennett, how much would it cost? You know, for me and my 2 daughters to go in. And Jillian had a glass of wine, and Sarah and I think, had coffee or tea, whatever we had, but Jillian was living large. But we all had soup, salad, you know, cheese and crackers and all this other stuff, and they have brownies and this and that. So they had all that food, and what it would have cost if we went to a restaurant, I'm estimating $50 more, because Jillian had wine, and if all of us wanted a glass of wine or whatever. So it tends to save me money, and what I have is one of the credit cards that the club comes with it, so whatever my annual fee is, it's pretty high. But what I do is I attach it to my business, so I can write the whole cost off. Okay? So again, if you travel twice a year, it's no big deal, you know, no big deal. But if you're going to start traveling a lot, because I've wanted to travel, I always said, by the time I'm 50, I'm going to be on the road, I'm going to be traveling. Invite me somewhere, guys, you never know, I may come. And Jim was joking about Greece, but actually I really might talk to you, Jim, about finding a good Airbnb or something to come over. If you're gonna be there at some point, because that way you could kind of show me the ropes. That would be really amazing. Because that's what I want. I want to go places where I have some friendly people that can show me, you know, kind of the ropes of you know, the country, the grocery shopping, all that other stuff. It's helpful when you have a buddy to give you a hand to get started. But yeah, there's so many tricks to travel. So those are just a few of them. One of these days I'll make an official video, or I'll do blog posts about it. Yeah, Jim, I think we'd have a really good time. So don't be surprised if I hit you up and say, not this year, because I got too much going on this year. I think I'm going to Asia in the fall. But next year could be very, very possible. And then, of course, Australia. I'm waiting for some of my Australian friends to put together an event to give me a business reason to come. Jim's a client, so I have a business reason to go. Haha. So, oh look, Ashley says she'd look after me. So there you go. I'll have to come over to Australia. Now that my kid's home from Australia, you think I would have gone while she was there. But anyway, guys, there's some, that sounds so good to me. Jim, I want some beautiful vegetables that are not coated with all the cootie stuff that we put on them here. I want to just, some cheese and some just beautifulness. Plus, I just spent a week walking a lot, and it's really good, man. I want to go somewhere where you have to walk. You know, in Europe, that's the way of life, and I need some more of that in my life, so. So there's some tips. If anybody has any other questions on stuff, travel related stuff, always feel free, just post them on my wall. I'll answer them publicly. I love traveling. Please do not, people think, oh, Diane, you're always stranded or stuck somewhere. No, that's part of travel, because it's not in your, exactly, no GMOs. Part of the fun of this type of travel is releasing, you can't control it. So you just like sit back, relax, and have fun, and you meet some interesting people, and you just have a good time. And if you get the upgrade, you're excited. This particular upgrade I actually bought, and then when the flight was canceled, I was pissed off because I thought I was going to end up in coach. I'm doing 3 flights back to back, and I knew I was going to be tired, so I figured I deserved a first class seat today. So, and I don't think they give me, oh no, maybe the second flight I get some lunch or something. I don't know. You know what I know? They have blankets in first class, and I'm going to sleep. So, guys, I'm going to walk down to my gate. It was so good hanging out with you guys this morning. And he's writing in Greek again. So, hopefully you found some goodness in it. If you have any questions, let me know. And I will see you guys from the road. Next stop, Association of Network Marketing Professionals, Dallas, Texas. Some of you guys I will see out there. Ooh, Edinburgh, that's where I want to go back to. Ooh, Edinburgh is awesome. All right, guys, we'll see you there. Yes, I will enjoy Dallas, and if any of you guys are interested, the live stream for the ANMP is only $50. I think it's $47. Association of Network Marketing Professionals. It's ANMP2017.com, and they're already on the second day. There's 80 speakers. All of them are $1 million and above earners in network marketing. So if you're in network marketing, very good thing to look at. And Michael, I'll catch up with you. I still haven't even looked at that video. I just trusted my old friend and said, all right, let's go. All right, I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye.